Welcome to Forever Exiled, the Path of Exile Podcast. I am Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Episode 72 of Forever Exiled. They just keep going up.
it's like they don't go backwards.
It's so crazy. It just keeps going up.
We're
so close to 100, that final episode.
Yeah, is that it? Are we going with a bang? 100 and you're saying
100.
Tie?
That's our goodbye. No,
That's
I'm
right,
kidding.
no. It's like, what was it? Year 2000, the Y2K with all the computers. You signed all of our contracts with 100.
Episode 100, it'll be We've Only Just Begun. That'll be the title.
There's lame, and then there's
you. Me, and it's amazing. Anyway, big shout out to our Patreons again this week. New Patreon joining the crew, Ronnie. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon. If you're curious what it is, there's a link down below. But the biggest thing is you get access to After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast. And last week was insane for After Dark. Tyler actually messaged me. He's like, "This is better than the main episode." So you're welcome, Patreons. The good thing with After Dark is alcohol sometimes comes out, guests sometimes join us, and you know what? You never know what's going to happen. But anyway,
clothing's optional.
It is. It's always optional. Information about our Patreons down below, and link to the merch store. Patreons as well get 15% off. How was your week, Ty?
My feet are sweaty. I gotta take off my slippers. Week was good. Was good. Yeah, better be careful now, otherwise my shirt's coming off next. So, hey, just our guild in Gems of War is picking up pretty good.
Yeah, I started playing it.
Yeah, and we have 13 people in there now.
Do you just invite
friends.
people, or is this?
No, they join on their own.
Okay.
And if they play, they stay. If they don't play, they don't get our rewards. Get out of here. They're out. Anyway, no, had a good time. Lots of Gems of War. It'd be nice if it was PoE mobile instead. You know, I'm doing the dishwasher, move a little bit, kill a mob, and then, do a couple plates and then come back. But I'm doing Gems of War right now. Playing some F1, which is pretty awesome. I
watched you for about 30 seconds.
Yeah,
last
your
night.
message makes me every time.
Did you ever see it? Because I was gone by that time.
Oh, I might have missed it. I had in my title right away. I'm like, I can't chat. It's F1. It's intense. Like the second I look up, I'm screwing up my time. So no, I'm not looking. But I did eventually see it, and it's tons of fun playing the F1 game. The season's going to start March 19th, I think, the real life one, and then March 19th or 20, something like that. And then Drive to Survive's coming out same time for season 3, where they're going to deal with the whole Roman Grosjean stuff. And oh man, so it's fun though, getting new people like Ryan, Chris, Aaron, Ian, and I. We're all like in the same league playing F1. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, no, it was a good week. It was just normal life, right? Trying to squeeze in some video games every now and then. And I'm still, every time, like I play a lot of Gems of War on my phone throughout the day, just like a game here or there. But every time I've been loading it up this week, I've been giggling about you getting all excited about loading it on an emulator on your computer.
Oh man, I was.
But it's so awesome because this game that Justin and I are playing on our phones, Gems of War, it's cross-compatible with the PC. But I guess Justin just automatically assumed it wasn't. So he set up this tricky emulator so he could play it on his PC, and he could have just downloaded it on Steam and continued his profile. So it was kind of funny. I've been giggling about that. The techie in all of us got out techied.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's jump in real quick to my week, because I do want to talk a little bit about this Gems of War game. So Tyler's been talking about it for a long time, and I've ignored him. I honestly have never even given like a half a thought. When you've said it, I've been like, Tyler's playing it. I won't like it. I've played other mobile games with you, and they're dumb.
Hey, we like Hearthstone.
No, what's that other one you play?
That's it.
No, there's just
Godville. That's barely a game, man.
Exactly.
But I'm like 4 years old in that game.
Right, but that's what I associate you with mobile games with, is a game where you just don't do anything. You literally just open it and giggle sometimes at what's written.
It is funny.
And then I guess you put a post in one of our group chats, and my wife saw it. And so one night I just saw her, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, this is the game that Tyler put in. I'm like, really? That actually looks like, for me, I don't play games on my phone, but the idea of a game where you just match stuff and then you do other things with it, I'm like, oh, okay. So I tried it, and then it kills my arms. Like, cause I don't know if people play during the day on their phones, but I don't I don't know how I would do that. So for me, it's like maybe before bed or for watching a show. So my arms are at like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And my old man elbows just start to get like really sore and I feel awkward. And so I was like, man, how can I play this thing on my computer? I had never even thought to go look at Steam. Never. It never even crossed my mind. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get an emulator and I'm going to load up the game because it saves on the cloud. And I was so proud of myself. I sent Tyler a picture and he's like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, you can play it on Steam. And I was instantly just like, what? Now I was happy, but I was also like, I was so proud. I made it work.
2 hours of my life.
Well, it wasn't that long, but it is good. Now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So Gems of War, basically, it's just a matching game. And there's like, I don't know, troops and weapons that you use. And there is literally 0 point. It's like they're very good at stacking, doing the exact same thing over and over and making you feel like you're progressing.
Okay.
That's pretty fair, right?
I actually think it's a very similar game to PoE, not gameplay, but the grind and the infinite team building options are just like PoE. You got the same grind over and over, but you have infinite character building options. To me, obviously it's a gem puzzle game. It's not an ARPG, but to me, the mentality is exactly the same. So I could see the monotony of it, but I see endless.
Have you spent money on it?
Only
Please tell me you've
Google
at least spent like a couple bucks or something.
Google Play money, the stuff you get from doing those
That's
Google
real
reviews.
money.
You
What?
get 10. Okay, hang on. You go around all over the place. You don't know about the Google review stuff?
Where
There's
you
like a
get paid
Google
to review
opinion
stuff?
rewards, and they just ask you questions. You answer. They'll give you 10 to 50 cents, and
Oh,
it
no, I
adds
didn't
up.
know that.
That's how Aaron and I, we rented before Spider-Man Into the Multiverse was on Netflix. That's how we
Okay.
rented it and watched it with the kids, and it adds up. So yeah,
Huh.
I had like $8 there, so I spent that.
Hmm.
And actually, I spent the rest on Among Us. So I think I've spent about $6 on Gems of War.
Oh
Go
yeah,
on.
we played Among Us.
Sweet.
Yep. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you at least spent a couple bucks on it. That I wasn't the only one. Games like
Okay.
that screw me over so bad. I'm like, I could just do this.
Yeah. Did it
Ethan's
work
like, is
for
it a
you? Did you
pay to
get
win
anything?
game? I'm like, oh yes, it is. You can get everything, but you can pay to get more quickly.
Yeah. I do like that it's legit free though. Like you could play for free and be fine, happy, content. You don't feel like you're getting left in the dust.
I couldn't.
Totally.
Nope. I saw your
Well-
team and I was like, ew, greens.
Oh man, but I'm crushing it. I am crushing it. You saw my boost damage at about 450. That was
I don't know
awesome.
what that means. I don't really care. I match as long as I can move forward. That's good for me.
Have you done 450 damage to a troop yet?
I've done
No.
like 7 billion to a troop.
Okay, so
It
moving on.
was intense. Anyway, the rest of my week was just work, but we did play Among Us. I think that was this week. That was fun
Yeah, awesome.
on the weekend. And that's it. Work and PoE we played this week. So let's get into that. Let's talk about our PoE. And now hold on. That's pretty good. Like 8 minutes in.
Hey,
And
did
we're
you
ready to
switch
talk
it?
about Path of Exile. Yeah, because you had it weird.
No, yeah, I was switching it up because then we could go from how
No.
our PoE week would to.
You
Okay.
just throw the whole podcast off, Tyler. What is wrong with you? Anyway, we're getting into PoE talk really early.
You go first.
Brittle's
Whatever,
wrecked
man.
it for us because last week, when we tried to talk about our weeks, she just was like, PoE. 4 minutes in, making everybody else happy. Anyway, let's talk about our PoE week. We played.
Together.
Yep.
That
and it was
nice.
funny. So we hung out on Monday and I was not going to play. I actually laughed to him saying, I'm playing Gems of War while you play PoE. That's what I'm going to play. and I was playing it while he started up. And then he started talking about making a new guy. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll make a new guy. I could play. So we played for a few hours. We got to finished Act 4. I think we finished Act 4. Somewhere
4 or
around there.
5. I think we just finished Act 4 and we were just about to go down the slopes.
Yeah. What were you? So I was playing around with the steel skills.
Yeah, but what would you start as? What would you go as?
Champion.
We copied each other. Wasn't
Yeah,
that
it was so cute. It was so
like
cute.
holding hands.
Yeah, we walked around wearing the same outfits, sort of, except mine were better. And we leveled at the same times for a little
Totes.
bit.
For a little bit. And then I was like, no, I got to go vendor. And
I
he's
just
like,
got to go vendor.
fine,
I was
I'll
like,
put a
how do you
portal."
have stuff in your inventory? But yeah, so what did you play?
I also went champion. I've been fighting my theory crafter itch my guide writer and theory crafter are always at odds with each other. And so I'm making a champion, and I can't decide if I want it to be a champion summoner, so a really tanky summoner using something like skeletons and just eventually going north after I get some good armor, or if I just want to stay south and just make it all melee. Yeah, like I like having the theme with my guide. Like I got to decide with my guides if I want to go all minion with all my guides, kind of like how I am now, or if I'm fine to mix it up a bit. Still haven't decided. So I'm going with the melee version here. And I can go into this just like, are you finished with your character? Are you finished with your guys saying how you going? Like you're going with, what's your skill?
I'll come back. I'm just sticking around with all the steel skills. I actually don't know yet what I'm going to do. And to be honest, I'll fill in the rest of that after you tell me the rest of yours. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I noticed while we were leveling, does it seem like they're sneaking in extra randomization to the levels to these games?
I've noticed it for a little bit. I don't think they actually are, but I have noticed that a little bit. Some of the layouts, sometimes you're like, what? This doesn't make sense.
So for me, with my limitations, I need AoE, and I need AoE that can't aim, right? Like I can't do the single start target stuff. Normal listeners know that by now. That's redundant. So they've come out with some slam skills, which is pretty cool. And just last league before, whenever that is that they did war cries, maybe it was this league, I don't remember. They came out with General's Cry. And so I've been playing around with it for the last few weeks. And that's just awesome. What it is, you just need corpses. And then, of course, enemies around you for power. And your war cry generates, they're not minions, but they are allies. There are 5 mirages, up to 5 mirages that show up. And then they actually use the linked attack skill. I think it's limited to melee, even though it doesn't say, because I really wanted it to work with Spectral Shield Throw, and I couldn't get it to work. I can't breathe through my nose, so I have to lean back to breathe with my mouth.
With talking, you're like, wait a minute.
So anyway. Hey, just as long as you recognize
whatever
the wavelengths.
Works, that's right.
Yeah, man. So anyway, I've been playing around with General's Cry, and I'm like, okay, well, it'd still be nice to have the AoE, because General's Cry with a single target skill, you still got to go a lot of offense for that to clear quickly, right? Unless you're going for very specific gear. So I'm like, okay, let's find some AoEs, let's find some slam skills. This whole time I've been, and I'm sure it's been a little bit annoying for you, but I would stop my gameplay a bit. Maybe you didn't notice because I'd be doing it mid, ritual or whatever, but I'd be swapping back and forth. General's Cry using Earth Shatter, which sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Totally
15
does. Yep.
spires. Oh, it's so awesome. I actually think Earthquake has the same sound, but it's just once because it's just the one-time skill. So anyway, I'm swapping. I can't decide between Earth Shatter and Earthquake. Earth Shatter has 2 stages, right? The slam, which is relatively weak, but it's because it also has spires. The next time you use your war cry, those spires explode, up to 15 spires. So, but I don't know if they get, like, I can't find the AoE information on the spires themselves, not the initial hit, but the spires. So I don't know how much they'll overlap once they're leveled up, including, using things like Pulverize. I'm not sure if I should or shouldn't use concentrated effects. So if they overlap, that is going to be a substantially stronger skill, but individually, the aftershock of Earthquake is just really, really strong. So as you and I are going through, I'm just swapping my skills. I'm going General Cry, Earth Shatter, and then halfway through the boss, I'm like General Cry and Earthquake, and I want to see which one's better, which one's faster clearing, and I could never make up my mind. I just finished, what's the Brine King?
The Brine King, Act 5.
Yeah, well, no, it's not Act 5.
It's the end of Act 5.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really? And then the bridge and all that's Act 7? Oh man, I got forever to go. Ugh. Anyway. Oh yeah, I just got introduced to Alva Act 7. Ugh. So anyway, I'm playing through, and then I'm skipping all my rituals. I'm like, I just want to play. You know what I mean? I didn't really feel like stopping and doing it. And it's good gameplay. And it's good XP. There's no criticism to the league, but I guess it was just the maps I was in. I didn't want to have to deal with going around walls to finish the ritual circle. And you know what I mean? There wasn't just nice, clear areas. So I'm like, fine, I'll stop at this one. I stop and I get a tabula. I'm like, sweet, okay. So equip it. All of a sudden, I got a thought in my head. I'm like, okay, you know what? I keep switching gems, but let's just do 2 5 links, right? I'll put Earth Shatter and Earthquake in the exact same 6 link. And then I'll just switch without having to do gem swapping. So I'll use, right trigger for one, left trigger for the other, or something like that, right? And then I'm like, wait, how am I going to do that? It's the same trigger skill for both, General's Cry. I start using it as I'm thinking about it. It uses both. That blew my mind. I just assumed it was like Spell Totem, where if you have multiple skills linked to it, you basically, like if you have 2 spells linked to Spell Totem, you have to have 2 different keybinds to cast those spells. Not with this one. So maybe it's because it's 5 mirages, and each of them is just going to pick one of the linked skills. So now I'm even though I like it's a tabula and I'm leveling with the 6th link, so it's not, overly fair. I'm technically leveling with 2 5 links while I have my 3 4 links and 2 3 links. So it's awesome. And so now I'm getting the single target and the AoE, and I'm not really concerned about the overlap of the spires anymore. And oh, glory! It is. Oh, hallelujah.
Also, just so that people who have been listening for the last little bit screaming and yelling at their phones or device that they're listening to, Act 5 is the first time you fight Kitava. Act 6 is Brine King.
So were we right?
I was wrong because I said he was the end of Act 5. He's the end of Act 6. Kitava's 5. Because I was trying to think like when do you fight Kitava, but Kitava is actually before you fight Brine King. Right?
What's Act 4?
Act 4 is Dominus.
3. That's Act 3 Dominus. So
3.
Act 4 is Malachi? We used to go through 4 acts before 3.0.
Yeah, that's right.
It was 4 acts, not 3?
Well, and I don't remember. But that's what it is.
Oh.
You go Dominus, then you fight Malachi, then you fight Kitava, then you fight Brine King. Act 6 is the end of... Brine King's the end of Act 6, so...
Cool. One more note on General's Cry. The Mirages have really good detail. They look really cool, and they're not all the same. Each one comes up and they're different. Some will have a mohawk, some will have a sweet armor head. Like they all have really cool looking detail. It's pretty neat. I like it a lot. You said you want to say something about your build after I was done?
So here's the thing, and I'm kind of dropping this on Tyler because we haven't had a chance to really talk about it, but we got to do a private league. And I started to think like, maybe I shouldn't be playing this guy. Because
so you're going to bail on the guy so you're not burnt out for the private league?
I think so. I think there's a good chance. Because I really do want to play with the steel skills, but I'm thinking we should do a private league. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, whatever. Well, obviously we should do a private league. Whether you should bail on me or not is totally different. That's just.
What do you think if we start at March 19th? 2 weeks from now.
That sounds really good.
Really dropping it on you. 2 weeks from now.
Let me check my calendar.
March 19th be the start of our league. We'll run it for 10 days. It'll go till the Sunday. We're talking PST time, so people know. That way you get 2 full weekends, which is what we usually try to do.
That's family birthday weekend there, so I'm...
What is? Oh, happy birthday, by the way. I know I missed it. Like
for what?
You. I missed it like...
that was like 8 years ago.
It was not. It was not that long ago. It was less than a week ago.
Right. Oh, thanks.
Just barely.
Thanks.
Anyway, I meant to bring it up in our last episode.
I can't tell who has more white hair because I shave a lot. Smaller, lower, shorter, shorter than you. So
what's a birthday weekend for you?
March 19th is the birthday weekend for our family. So it'll work, but it's
when does the next league
only
start?
Evenings. Like I won't be able to squeak anything in the opening weekend for fun and stuff.
Oh, it's just a birthday. Get over it. When are
you made me snot on the mic.
When does this league end? Do we know yet? We don't, do we? We don't know in this
league. I think they did say. I haven't been paying attention to it though. I never care about league end. I only care about league start, which normally they're intertwined, but who knows with COVID. They mentioned something a while back about their estimated timeline. This was going to be a 3-month league, so they did emphasize that. And they said that they were going to be 4 releases this year like usual. So we assumed that there was going to be a 2-month league somewhere along the line so they could do a pre-Christmas release again. But that was just assumption. So
is the 19th to the 28th a good idea or a bad idea?
Perfect. Well, I don't know when the league ends. I don't remember. But 2 weeks from now sounds marvelous.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks from the day we're talking right now. So from the day people are listening to this, just slightly less.
We don't know when any other races are going on and stuff. But
I know that Zizzarin's thing is starting on the 13th because PoE posted about it. That's all I know. I don't know when.
Think they'll post about ours?
No. I would rather them not. Our private leagues, if you haven't played in them before, we keep them for just Forever Exiled. Like it's not like we're hiding it, but we definitely do not put it out there. It's only on our Discord. And we're going to have winners.
That's right. If you don't like us, don't join.
Yeah, please don't. We don't want to play with people we don't like and that don't like us.
That's right. The pure Christian attitude. Only love those who love you.
you can become a legend though. People who win become legends on Discord for that next upcoming league.
You get a green color.
I know, and the current legends will be lost. Their green will be gone.
You'll be nobodies.
Although you're forever in the FE Legends channel. But
oh, cool.
We're gonna do some prizes again for this one. Tyler and I haven't really talked about it, but it's gonna be as good or better as the last one.
I'm excited.
Yeah, right.
For the decisions we're going to make together.
Talk about this later. It's gonna be so.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait to find out what my involvement in this league is.
Does 19th to the 28th work for you though?
Fine. It's fine. Right. Just do it. Click the button. Oh, no. Hey, personal request. Request. I'm unanimously approving the tier 2 monster life.
You really want to do that?
In hardcore.
Hardcore tier 2. You want to, that's
yes.
In ritual.
Yes.
You want to buff everything by 40% health.
I think it's 20. Maybe it's 40. But yes,
I think the tier 2 is 40.
I just want it.
You really want it. All right.
Yeah.
You've heard it here. Tyler picked it. We'll have all the rules figured out because we haven't actually talked about this yet, but
we've covered that.
19th to the 28th.
Thanks a lot.
That's when it's happening. We'll have all the details on Discord. Maybe before you hear that. Maybe before we post this.
Well, it has to be the next podcast. It's our last podcast next week before.
No. I mean, we'll have it on Discord before this comes out. Maybe ish.
All right. Remember, only join if you like us.
Yeah,
jerks.
Anyway, so yeah, I just started thinking about it. I was like, if we're going to do a private league, I don't really want to put a ton of work into a character and then just be burnt out. And I really want to try the steal skills. Now I'm a little nervous if we're all of a sudden buffing everything by 40%, but that would be no matter what I played.
And I have to be Scion and you don't.
Oh, that's going to be so good. That's right. Yeah, we'll have to figure out if you're going to be the baseline. I love that people were already commenting about you being the baseline. They were like, well, Tyler, he did pretty well last league.
I died from stupidity last time too. I think it was, it was the delve. I just went the wrong way in delve. The stupid thing didn't follow me. Awesome. I was supposed to follow it and I thought it was going to follow me and it just...
That's right. Nope. I remember it.
It was rock solid. The whole thing was wicked. Nope.
All right, let's do it. 19th to the 28th. You've heard it here. That's going to be our private league, the FE Ritual Private League. You'll find more information on Discord. That's the only place you're going to find it. So if you're not on Discord, you're out. All right, let's chat about this week in PoE.
Hang on. I got stuff still.
What do you got?
Prick.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, there's
you
like
did kind of say I'm done.
No, I didn't.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about other PoE stuff?
Yeah.
Does this have to do with console?
I had a busy week.
All right, moving on.
Well, actually, since you brought up console, Arcade Canuck showed me some busy Harbinger business on the Series X, and it looked rock solid. Looked totally fine. So I'm excited for that whenever that happens. Hopefully the game doesn't get too many updates before I get my console so I can enjoy some smooth gameplay. But I was talking about doing the champion, and I'm bouncing back and forth between whether I want to do like a personal melee. Holy smokes, it's hot in here. Whether I want to do melee or like just pretty slow casting. Because, I'm starting south of the tree and I want to be tanky. So I don't want to require too much into being a caster type of thing. So I was looking around at the minion skills. I know them well enough, have them memorized to a point, but I was like, man, there's actually not a lot to choose from. Outside the carry-on golem and the holy relic that was added quite a while ago now, there really hasn't been much. Because I'm thinking like, okay, I want to go pure physical because that's where I'm getting all my stuff from. And that really limited me right off the bat. I'm not going to do animate weapon because I have to cast tons. I'm not going to do SRS because I have to cast tons. I don't have, if I'm investing tons into my armor, I don't have enough to deal with minion life. So I'm not going zombies. One thing I don't like about golems is it's pretty tricky to not be an elementalist if you're going golems. And so all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I'm actually pretty limited. And my only slow cast option outside of a permanent zombie thing was skeletons, right? Because they res 3 at a time. And unless you're getting a lot of the different bonuses, you're only going to be capped at 9. So that's 3 casts and they last for, 20 seconds? So you don't need to cast them all at once. You can, take a few steps and cast. You don't really have to focus on mana regen is my point. And they don't have natural fire conversion like SRS does. They're just pure physical. So I was actually kind of surprised while I was going through and thinking, and now granted, I'm limiting myself with the idea of what I want this build to be, but I was kind of like, yeah, I think it's time for another minion skill or two. You know, when they come out with the new with the new skills every league.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been a bit. I think it's time. Tyler says it's time. So anyway, I was thinking that. Thought it'd be fun. What else? Oh, I was made fun of a bit this week for saying that I was worried about like busy MTX slowing down the game. Remember when I was like, there was a wing or a back attachment last week or the week before? And I mentioned that I made a tweet to GGG. I'm like, because it looked really cool. There were lights going through all the veins of the wings and it looked really cool. I forget what it was. Maybe it was verdant. And I'm like, man, sounds awesome. But I'm a little nervous about, like, will that impact my already poor stability, like on the Xbox, if I'm getting wings, right? That should be a priority. That's something money paid for. So that should be working well prior to everything else. So I made a comment and I got made fun of a little bit online for it. And but I tell you, when I've been logging in the last few days to squeeze in maybe half an hour to an hour of PoE, places like Lion Eyes Watch, it's like a permanent 15 to 20 frames per second for me because of MTX. The second somebody with 2 dragons leaves, back up to 60. 2 people come in with 2 pets and a crazy busy MTX party, it's back down to 15. So I'm curious how much it impacts. Like, I don't know. Just curious. Who cares? One day I'm getting a Series X. Woo!
Or just upgrade the PC. But I also want to point out, just because you said you were being made fun of, just so that people are aware, Tyler and I have a fantastic friendship. We're not actually being mean to each other. I don't want people to think that Tyler's crying after each podcast.
Though everybody was very kind and supportive, and I appreciate it. Justin actually is lying. We don't like each other at all. His parents pay me a lot of money to be his friend.
It's become a business now. We're not really friends.
And it's because he's such a dick to everyone that they pay me so much. I just let him be him. And
so I can
just
do whatever I want
check.
him. He's getting a good money each month. So,
well, verbally.
Anyway,
and I was thinking because I was doing a lot of testing, right? This melee version of the champion. This will be my last thing. I'll scratch the rest. Two more things. Two more. Yeah, 2 more things. I was doing some testing in Path of Building, the community one, and this general cry. It says that supported attacks count as exerted. So the hits with the linked attack that the mirages do from General Cry, they count as exerted. So I'm going through, and because I'm focusing on War Cry cooldown with this build, the increased damage to exerted attacks are all within those same clusters. So I'm using them, but my damage isn't going up in PoB. I scoured everything in PoB to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And it looks like exerted attacks aren't really, maybe it's just with General's Cry, but aren't really calculated appropriately within the system. So I wasn't sure how much damage I was actually going to be doing. And you know what I was thinking of? How many other games have test dummies?
Yeah, that's true.
In their hideouts and stuff like that. How awesome would it be to have test dummies? You could just set them up as hideout decorations. You get an infinite amount, or you buy them from Xana. I don't care. Who knows? But you can put them there. You can spread them out so and you can choose if they're going to be enemies or allies. And so then you can like test aura width or what's it? Circumference.
Radius.
Yeah. Hey, there it is. And you know what I mean? Like you could test how much your auras, how far they work. You could test to see how much this, that, and another thing does with your skills. You could set them up anywhere you want.
You definitely want to be able to disable them for minions so you could turn it on and off. Otherwise, that would get annoying.
Oh, sure. But to have the options, or to, I don't know, maybe make it like you buy this from Xana, not real money, but you buy the ally one from Xana and you buy the enemy one from, who knows, Einhardt, right? Because of Beast. So I don't know. I thought that'd be awesome because I'm like, I have no way to figure this out. There's no way. But you add a test dummy, that answers so many criticisms.
True.
Last thing, I just fought the Brian King before the podcast. I never noticed that Nessa's arms are all fishy and scaly. Did you?
I don't know if I've ever actually looked.
She's full on committed to her treachery. Whether she was tricked into it and likes it or tricked into it and is brainwashed, she's into it.
All right, let's talk about this week in PoE.
Done.
We had we had one big patch. Thank God we finally had 1E. This is the patch. I mean, we've been waiting for this one.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Changes. Pretty big PvP changes.
All I had to do was wait 2 seconds. We should try PvP.
No.
We should actually try it and see what it's like.
Set
ourselves like what should we do? What what was it? Dark Souls 1. What was it, like 33 and 66? What were those the levels? 20,
Yeah, 120
30,
was
40,
like
60?
the SL 120 was like where everybody would stop at. That was the big PvP level.
Yeah,
they should
let's
do
pick
something like that for PvP, but
We
it's
should.
still dumb.
Let's try it out.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden we'll have like this. I wonder, can you do PvP private leagues? We have, I guess we can't, because a lot of the people listen, like, it's too global a market. So it's going to be hard to match people up. But I think you and I should try it sometime. We'll try it.
Try and find the best like level 40 or level 30 character you can make.
My zombies are going to crush your soul.
But it'd be impossible because you can't turn off XP. So anyway, but thankfully there's some pretty big changes for PvP. So the game
Dark Souls 2 had that sweet ring that ate your soul, so you would never level up. That'd be
Lots
cool.
of other games have it too, where you can just turn it off.
Yeah, what's going on, GGG?
Come on, GGG.
Prioritize PvP.
Seriously. Anyway, tons and tons and tons of fixes, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing stood out to me. No, but I do like the fact that there's a lot of fixes. Did you?
Can I tell you a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were just a couple. Cyrus Awakener Worlds, the Shaper can no longer appear in the Sacred Grove, Incursions, Syndicate Labs, and Conqueror Arenas. That's nice.
Boring.
Okay.
Let him fight wherever he wants.
Guild microtransactions can now be added to the watch list. The plethora of microtransactions available.
Super.
Someone over there is thinking guild. They're like just pushing it. They're having like a little pizza party for them and their other guild buddy at
Maybe there's
GGG.
big changes coming.
Maybe. Hey, wouldn't that be awesome?
Literally anything would be awesome.
I don't know what this looks like, but I'm excited for it. Additional modifiers on the sidebar for the map device have been visually updated to make it easier to see how many sextants remain.
Yeah, that's cool. Because you can see it, but there's nothing obvious about how many left to run. So that's nice.
This is for our Discord folk. I mean, they already know it and have read it, but just shouting it out because a lot of people were complaining about it and posting videos. Fixed a bug where certain monsters could be immune to damage during ritual encounters. It's nice that one's fixed. Hopefully it's all of them. Now, this one, the list was huge for bug fixes, like you said, but this list was so specific with some of the things, like with this unique ring, with this boss battle, and this map, with this mod. Like, they were so specific. I know I've had my complaints about this league, of course, but goodness, they care about the big and the little issues. And I'm just so impressed with some of these things that are fixed, not just how they're found, but also there's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's this. Yeah, we can throw that in next patch. Just pretty crazy. Anyway, that's it. Besides the fact that we should try PvP.
Well, especially with these fixes. I mean, how can we not?
I do like when people let their div cards get voted on, or GGG was letting the community vote on the next MTX that they were going to make and release. I like that. I like the bars and the graphs they have in their announcements for what, the community's choosing. It's pretty fun.
Anyway, so they had 2 additional hot fixes, just little fixes. And then that was it for patches.
Oh, they had tons of MTX. Did you see them?
I did. Nothing stood out to me.
The Vikings look cool. The Frost Vikings look cool. It looks like, you laugh at me for saying this, but it looks realistic, as I run around with my floating weapons, but I like it. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really like the Madcap beetle. They look pretty cool. It's a huge beetle that flies with you. But they released at the same time as the Carrion Golem, which is Celestial. And I totally get Celestial's their best-selling MTX, but I feel like every other MTX theme exists only so that it's not a Celestial-only MTX store. But they create them just so that they can release the Celestial, and the Celestial one's gonna go forever. But I love they had a couple Shield MTX as well, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Did you see the where are they? The stats?
I did, yeah. I actually think that's a good thing for us to talk about later. Because with this episode, barring something funny and Justin just deciding randomly to pass something off.
Oh, I hate you. Have done this for so many. I have been trying to talk about. Hey, at least we touched on it. What Justin's trying to say is I've been dying to talk about the Atlas passive trees and like what selections he likes and why and that kind of stuff. We got to touch on it with Brittleney, but like good conversations go between friends, we get sidetracked tons and we go down this path and that path and we forget to come back. So.
And there's nothing that makes me happier than moving it to our pushed list because Tyler's face just dies. But I think the stats for the Atlas passives, let's talk about that when we do that.
Okay.
It is cool, though.
Yeah, good talk. I guess that's it. Oh, Actually, the talent competition, as always, everybody's amazing, but I'm a sucker for piano playing. I love like just only piano.
Mm-hmm.
And someone in there was playing one of the PoE themes on piano, and I just loved it. Just loved it. So kudos to everybody.
I wish I could play piano. It's like the one.
Oh, I love it.
I feel like they just look and sound amazing when they do it.
I took piano lessons for years, but I stopped too early and lost it. Now I can do scales and that's it. And only with my right hand because I've had surgery too much on my left hand. So I'd be one of those fancy classical playing with only one hand and one foot.
Yeah, I did listen to it. I think she's actually done some of the other songs as well on the piano. They're awesome.
And Lucky Girl Camille posted on her thing too, which is kind of cool. When the actual
I think he's retweeted them a couple times. They're so good.
Nice. Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a busy week. Now, before we get, hey, you didn't push it.
Well,
ready?
We're not finished yet.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to the show. Before we get into that, you know how Zana has her map mods? That's always awesome. It's a free map. You can get some really juiced up ones or some of the rare ones.
When you say map mods, you mean the map she's offering you in a map mod?
Yes. I mean selecting her as a master mission, whatever, or the random one if you didn't select one, which I still think it would be awesome to have a random button. But anyway, wouldn't it be nice if you could invite Maven to her maps if you wanted to? Like if that was an option on her pseudo map device.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be nice. Like when she gets that nice corrupted Phoenix Elder or Shaper influenced. I guess the Phoenix is always going to be Shaper, never Elder. It's the other ones that are anyway. But I think it'd be nice. I think it'd be nice because sometimes I kind of sometimes feel like, oh, I'd love to do Zana, but I want to fly through. Like I just love all the bosses. I want every single boss I do to be in my arena. I feel like I'm wasting that when I do a Zana map. Is it Zana or Zana? I'm going to switch back and forth.
Zana. I feel like that's the American way to do it for sure.
Zana. Pinch your nose and say it.
Just Zana. Zana.
Okay, Zana.
No,
so anyway, I wish Zana could have Maven in her fights.
Oh man, you got so annoying there.
Love you.
You're the worst.
I'm going to ask for a raise from your parents.
They'll never pay.
Money bags. I'm a stay-at-home parent because of them.
Let's get into the Atlas tree preferences. So here's Tyler's just peeing his pants a little bit. 1 second.
This is the best.
Okay, so
no. We don't even know, Justin.
What?
I don't have this unlocked. We want to go through all the Atlas passes, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't have all of them unlocked on PC. And none of their pictures that they do show the travel nodes, right? Like they only show the keystones, but not the travel nodes.
All right.
Which actually have an impact for what I'm deciding in some trees.
Yeah.
So I'm actually during the podcast, have my console up here.
Just for
and I'm going to be like, click, 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 click on. I'm so glad I'm actually able to use the console in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to work our way through these. All right. So we're going to start off with Haywork. Is that fine? I'm going to go in the order.
It's loading. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it's console. We're going to go in the order of the wiki, just because for me, that's easier.
Does it show the travel nodes in the wiki?
No, it doesn't tell you. And I don't care. I know what most of them are, but it does not.
Haywork.
So we're going to go.
Is that how you say it? Haywork?
Haywork. Yeah. How do you say it? What was the one? Glenick. You never got to that. Sounds good.
No, I don't even remember how it used to be.
You never even told us how it was.
Oh, right. What accent is that?
There were so many weird
Irish
sounds
being made
during that episode.
If you listen to After Dark and you're from that area of the world, please don't be offended. Don't be offended. We did it on purpose. It's Oriath is still loading. We do our best, but even though we're Canadian, we do not speak French either. So there you go. I like Hercule Poirot. Ever seen Hercule Poirot? I got an offer on a large cluster jewel. It's all blessings.
All right, let's get into this. So do you have Haywork?
I got to load my hideout now.
Oh my God, these consoles. This is just like...
I have to load my hideout.
Oh my God. Why?
Because it's less distracting. Then I don't have people showing up on my screen.
If I knew this was the process, I would have pushed it.
Was not thinking. Hang on, my grass hasn't loaded.
Yeah,
there it is.
Thanks, Fall, for that hideout. It's amazing. People still compliment them.
Okay, this is really small. Enhance. Okay, Haywork. Hang on. It's hard to click on. Haywork. Whew, that was a lot.
So
Okay.
what's
So
the
what do you
idea
wanna
here?
talk about?
Our thinking is, what do we like? Here, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
something.
what are you going with and why?
Okay. For Haywork, I'll tell you, and this is going to be the same, I guess, in some of them as we go through different ones. Because you got to see Tyler's face. He's like,
I have a
it's
notebook.
like Christmas. He's got a note. Is that a Path of Exile? Is that a Forever Exiled notepad?
It is. It's our Forever Exiled
Let's
notebook.
give some of those
wish ours-
away in the competition. We're doing
Dude,
it.
you said that out loud.
We're doing
in
it.
the-
It's part of
now
it.
you have to.
Yeah.
Our store doesn't even.
We don't even
Fine.
carry them. We'll get them though.
Fine.
All right.
Oh yeah. Justin snaps his fingers. Whatever.
So that's right. Okay. So here's my thing with Haywork. There's two really easy ones for me to just cut out, and that is Syndicate and Essence.
Hang on.
And okay.
Syndicate and Essence. Okay.
Syndicate to me, I don't want to do because I do not understand the Syndicate board well enough. And I wish, there's been times, I'm not kidding, when I want to watch like a couple YouTube videos, because there are some really good ways to set Syndicate up. Super powerful. It is an incredibly powerful thing. I just have not had the time to do it. And so I ignore it. Besides like when it pops up. So for me, Syndicate's an easy no.
To me, I did say no to Syndicate, but one of the big ones was because the very first node to me is wasted for my play style. Jun missions in the area grant 100% increased favor. I don't care about that. To me, I'm assuming that's like the MTX purchasing. I don't care about that. And so the thing that couples with it is areas have 10% chance to grant an additional Jun mission on completion.
Mm-hmm.
My Xbox can't handle it.
Mm.
It can't. Every single time I get invaded or, oh my goodness, at least going into the safe houses or what are those things, the labs where you go underground, those are smooth now because of this texture streaming. Like it's blocky, it's Minecraft, but it's smooth. Before it was like a 5-second delay, but it's because of the performance, and also I don't care about favor that I basically nixed the tree. I'm not going to use 4 passives.
So Syndicate was an easy no for both of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next one, am I hearing your controller? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, you're not hearing my sweet
Super
sexy
controller.
sound.
Now
it's an Xbox Series X controller for my Xbox One. Thank you.
I don't care. My next one, now this is actually a tough one for me because Harvest, let's save Harvest to last.
Okay.
But Beyond and Essence are the other two. Essence for me, I did not care about at all. And the reason though I didn't care about it was because I really wanted Beyond. The idea of adding so many more enemies and unique bosses was awesome. However, and more currency because there was more basic currency drops from it. I respect out of it early on because I was getting really frustrated with Beyonds in rituals. It was just becoming too much for me to even see what I was fighting. And that got really frustrating for me.
So you went back to Essence?
No, I actually think I just filled, because I don't have them completely completed. So I think I just filled out everything within Harvest.
But at the end, it'll end up being Harvest and then Essence because you got annoyed with Beyond.
I just got frustrated with it. I definitely like it. It's my second favorite one, but the way that it's implemented for me in the game is just really frustrating. What do you think between those two?
I'm actually the same way. Harvest was a must for me, and that's 3 out of your 5 nodes. I'm not going to be talking travel nodes, so I'm going to be talking about the 5 keystones, right? You get 10 points, but it's technically only 5 sweet keystones. So for me, I was definitely doing the Harvest ones. I didn't get to experience Harvest because I was really annoyed with the league, with the micromanagement setup, and it wasn't really co-opable. Like if I'm playing in your game all the time, mine isn't getting improved at all. So, and I mean, that's here and there. Those are part of our Harvest podcast if you ever go back in time. But because I didn't get to actually experience it personally or on console, I'm definitely feeling it out. And of course, because as Brittle pointed out in both one of our episodes last week, harvest crafting is just insanely powerful. And so it's really nice to be able to save. So Harvest was a for sure. And because I'm, as I mentioned about the Jun missions, nixing that, both the Beyond and Essence are good 2-point trees that'll easily fill out the 2 points. I love Beyond. I love the XP, but again, it came down to performance. There's no way I could do that. It would just log my system down and it would turn into deaths. So I do really like essences though, and I like the controlled, slow-paced play of that. Like they're there. You choose when you're going to start it. If you need to, like, you know, if you have a build-up skill, you can build it up ahead of time before you start the combat, all that kind of stuff. I really like that. My favorite part about Essence, though, is that areas have a 20% chance to have an additional essence. That's a huge number compared to everything else. Everything else is like, look at the harvest. I know harvest is strong, and so you have to consider what the content is, but every other travel node that actually increases chances, which isn't all of them, it's like 3% chance, 5% chance. And then when I look at essences, it's not a performance problem, and it's giving me a 20% chance, and then another 20% chance as I'm going to the second node. So love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm the same. And Harvest for me was at the top. And I thought it'd be fun as we go through these, as we finish each one, just to look at the top three so I'll just tell you, the top three for Haywork Hamlet are all three Harvests.
Okay. Makes sense.
Grove's Call is at 74%, Nature's Favor at 52%, and then Wild Fruit at 50%.
All right.
So
what were the next two? What are 4
all right,
and 5?
we'll do top 5. The fifth one was Betrayal.
Yeah, 5 notes. Betrayal.
Focused Investigation, and then Beyond for Power Hungry. And there's a very dramatic drop in how many there are less. Because you have to remember, too, the stats that GGG has is also based on people who have just unlocked their first 2 points. So it's not just necessarily people who have all 10 points.
I wonder why people would want increased favor for Jun, or a 10% chance to grant an additional Jun mission. Like, once you have your syndicate board, if you care about setting up your syndicate board, I guess you still want to interact with it a lot, but then you're still not going to do anything with it.
My other guess would be they have spent their first 6 points getting to the 3 nodes in Harvest. They've finished the 8th point, and they have not gotten the 10th yet, which may be further into Betrayal.
Okay.
So maybe because the next one further down.
But Beyond is so much XP. Anyway, What's the next area?
Let's do Turn's End.
Hang on. Click. Got it. Okay, hang on. Let me check my notebook. Oh, easy one for me.
All right, so tell me your first out. What's the first one that you just didn't care about?
I only actually have one in that one right now. Areas have... Well, the first one I chose was Delirium. I'll be doing I'm only doing 2 Delirium out of the 3 Delirium. So obviously I have to do the first one. Areas have a 10% chance to contain a Mirror of Delirium. Again, I didn't get to experience the League, but that is a huge part of core content now with cluster jewels. And so it's nice to actually experience it instead of just read about it. And I'll be going with Singular Eternity. So that one, because I'm a slow paced player. So Delirium in fog areas dissipates 25% slower. And the areas last 10 additional seconds before dissipating. So basically, I want to play at my pace, and this will let me do it. I know the other one might be stronger, but I want to play, and I don't want to rush.
So we're starting at the top on this one then, right? Is that right? The one we want the most?
Oh, did I screw it up already?
No, that's fine.
So I went with Delirium. It's a tree of 3 points, but I only went with 2.
It was kind of funny. So Turn's End was the very first one that I got Maven in this league, and I was already pissy about Delirium. I don't remember why. I'm not sure what it was that had me just irritated with it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to guess that they did something stealthy, and Invasion is going to be too good. That whole drop 1 additional valuable item on the second one. I'll bet you they did something. This is me talking to myself. So I went Invasion. Like literally the first 4 points went into Invasion because I thought I'm going to be tricksy. I'm going to know something before everybody else.
Sure.
It didn't turn out at all. So, but this one to me is really easy to just go with Delirium and Abyss and split my points between those two. I don't care about Bestiary. I know some people will probably absolutely love Bestiary. The fact that you have this like increased chance to replace the beasts can be upgraded to reds, and there's replace all the monsters with beasts. Like there's some pretty crazy stuff that can happen with it. I just don't craft enough with Bestiary. I don't pay attention enough to it. So I think it's probably a really strong one. And we'll look in a second at the actual stats. But to me, it was Delirium and Abyss. And it's funny even for Abyss because I kind of get tired of Abyssal Depths. And I feel like I'm the only one because we've laughed about it before. I'm like, oh no, an Abyssal Depths. I don't know why. I'm not sure what it is that bothers me about them, but
I I like them. I treat them like Vile side areas, the Abyssal Depths. I just hug the red until I hit the boss. I'm not too concerned about clearing it. I don't know why I treat them different than I do a normal map. I don't have a good reason for it. Maybe I should start considering it. I actually really wanted to do the bestiary. Bestiary, because I love the very last node. It's only a branch of 2 nodes, but I really like the last one where there was a small 5% chance to contain additional packs of beasts instead of other monsters.
Yep.
And then I like the chance of yellow beasts having a 30% chance to be replaced with red beasts. That's the first node. I loved both of those. But again, I play on the Xbox One. Red beasts are a big problem.
Sure, with all the stuff they spawn.
Some of the times when they roll, it is just brutal. And the system just can't handle it. So I unfortunately went away from it. So my first one was a Delirium. But I absolutely love Abyss. I love how it trails around. And my favorite thing about Abyss, outside of what it actually is hitting the Abyss before you've cleared the map, before you've seen where it's going. I absolutely love just running into it, and then it takes you randomly throughout the map. I do hate it when it actually goes through the entire map. I do like it when they're relatively short, but I like it when it's taking you into an area where you don't know what other enemies are going to be there as well. I love that risk. And so I went with all 3 nodes.
All 3. Oh my God. The Buried Riches ones to me was the dumbest. I do not touch hordes when I'm running through the Abyssal Depths. I run right past them.
I just wanted to know what basic currency items were.
Okay.
At the time, though, when I was choosing this description wasn't there. In the actual tree, it says basic currency includes any currency that drops from non-league content.
Yep. It's still good, but I just don't click the hordes.
Oh, I do, because in the league itself, do you remember the Abyss League? It was like almost every single horde, that's like a chest, every single horde had a belt.
Yeah.
There were so many Stygian belts. So I still click every single one just because.
That to me was the worst out of all of them. Was the Buried Riches. Yeah, because I'd never ever use it. But
the other one that increases monster level and 100% more rare monsters, that stuff's awesome.
Long story short, though, Invasion was not great. It was not a good.
That's too bad.
You know what? You never know, though. What if I had been right and these additional valuable items were amazing? They weren't.
I don't know.
But they could have been.
I love surprise bosses. I love that about Metamorph. To me, the Invasion boss was the same kind of thing, just a little less terrifying.
So Turn's End in the actual league is actually quite funny. So 62% of players have that which you seek, which is the 10% additional chance to contain a mirror of Delirium. That's okay, yeah. Right. And then it drops from 63% to 38%. And then so the next ones are Big Game from Bestiary. That's second.
Okay.
Which is the 15% chance in pairs, and yellow's chance to go to red. 36% the single eternity in Delirium, and then greater forces in Delirium.
Slower. Oh, people want it slower with me. That's nice.
It just gives you more chance to build up the things, right? And then the final one is Great Migration in Bestiary, which is the final one in there. Right? The 5% chance to replace all monsters with beasts.
Oh, Bestiary. I'm in Abyss. Yeah. Okay.
Abyss was a close 6th, and then it's a pretty big jump off after that.
Sweet.
All right, let's do Lex Proxima. I'm going to, again, just because this is how it's easier for me.
Oh, there's a lot in here.
Easy ones for me to just dump and not do was Delve. And that's coming from somebody who likes Delve, but I didn't want to waste my points on the Delve skill tree. It was an easy out for me to not include Delve into it.
I didn't have any Delve either. Where is it? How many are there?
3.
Oh, yeah, that was an easy nix for me. I actually really have come to dislike Delve a lot. 1, Xbox One, performance issues. I don't like mods against me that change.
Yep.
I find that really, really annoying, especially if you're doing something like Righteous Fire and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, all of a sudden you're in an area with negative resists. Oh, that sucks. And I don't like the exploring. Like, I like the path. I love the onslaught of enemies. I love clicking on those things, and then all of a sudden it's a rush of enemies where I am, outside of the performance issues. But I don't like having to deal with the dark. I don't know why, but it's just a personal preference, not a criticism to the league mechanic. But yeah, it's really fallen out of favor. I think I've been at max Sulfite or Azurite, whatever it is, for a long time, and I'm just like, meh.
I like Delve. I just there's too many other things to do in the game right now, especially with the new league, that I was like, I'm not going to focus on it. For me, this was an easy one again with Harvest. Those are my top picks were Harvest and then Torment, just because I liked the additional monsters are possessed. I think I might have actually taken that one first, the Seance one with Torment, where
I did too.
Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah, 20 monsters in the area are possessed with those spirits. Those are so awesome. That was my first one as well. I really liked that.
It's not that great, but it was fun. It was fun to do.
Every time it actually applies, it is amazing. I did also take the 3 harvest nodes, and then I took the one, even though it's not great for performance, I did take the one breach one.
Which one? Because breach for me is meh.
Invading force. Breaches in areas have 30% increased AoE, which is nice. They have increased monster density, but it was also for the XP. So it is a bit of a performance problem, but it's not all the time. The one thing that it's hard for me with these is I am also picking ones that you can't really do with master missions. So sometimes, because I'm pretty apathetic which master it is, I just like doing content. So if I can choose the master, I'm probably going to pick, and this is just how I play, but I can't pick breach. I need an item to modify my map to guarantee a breach. So I like being able to guarantee it if I'm not focusing on it. So
my last one in breach would have been the increased chance to have a boss. Plus you can get double splinters and a chance for the breach stone. Just because your chances of getting the splinters is so much higher. But I know I didn't get into 10 in that one, so that would have been my last one.
I'd like that one if I had the Xbox Series X. There's no way, like my system can't handle beyond on the one.
Well, I mean, you're doing the increased density though. If you picked,
it'll be my last one though. I haven't actually done a region with it yet, but considering what the other ones are, that one was my final pick.
So let's see, Lux Proxima, no surprise. The top 3 are Harvest. Then Gatekeepers for Breach. Oh, so that's the one I was just talking about. The increased chance to have a boss, and Breach Splinters is 4th, and then 5th is Delve, Rich Veins, which I guess makes sense. If somebody likes Delve, that's going to be a pretty obvious pick for you. So,
yeah, it is. I love. Is this the one that has the extra? Oh yeah, it's just white, yellow, and red maps. Just give you sulfite when you complete it, no matter what.
That's a different one, yeah. But the one that everybody took was Rich Veins, which is, well, not everybody, but 28%.
That's the first one. You have to. Yeah.
And then our Seance one was 6th place. The Tormented.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for us.
All right, Lex Ejoris.
Is that how you say it? Ejoris?
Yep.
Not Eoris?
Nope.
Sometimes the J is a Y. Just.
All right. Lex Ejoris. You know what? What's the easy out on this one? Come on. It's pretty obvious.
Parandus for me.
Yeah.
Don't care about that.
No, it's so...
maybe there's some people out there that do. And then another quick out for me was Incursion.
Oh, 100%.
The Val Flesh Merchant does interest me. And I remember someone asking, and I think it was Bex, I don't remember. But they said, oh, you'll have to find out. So there's something special about it. But I'm like, I hate Incursion so much that I don't care if I never find out.
It's really funny how much we hate some things that people just love. Like some people, and I mean, BK brought up some good points that if you're looking for like the double corrupt and the stuff in the temple, the Incursion trees are actually really good for it. It's just that meant I had to deal more with Alva, and I cannot stand her. So Incursion and Parandus were easy outs for me.
And that guarantees your next 5.
Delirium and Metamorph.
3 for Delirium and 2 for Metamorph. My first 2 were Metamorph. Freaking love bosses. The bosses,
Rogue Metamorph was
the more
hilarious.
Spontaneous ones.
Where you just randomly would see it. Yep.
Yeah. I wonder how they calculate what powers and body parts it has. I love BK's idea of just the prospect of this thing. If it spawns in your map, it's just hunting you. I just love that idea. More bosses, the better. I love it. Yeah. So it was.
I did take Metamorph, the 2 Metamorph ones as well, and then the rest of mine go into Delirium.
Yep. Same.
That one's an easy one. Well, let's see. How did we compare?
I like the Delirium ones in here. Areas have an increased chance to drop simulacrum splinters and cluster jewels and reward. They have 15% chance to generate more reward types. So. And the travel jewels, they have increased chance to drop cluster jewels. So to me, this was the rewarding version of Delirium compared to the other ones.
Yeah, it's just the Metamorphs were fun. So for me, I wanted to go them first.
Oh, totally. But this is one of my favorite regions. I have a certain way that I do my Atlas, and it's not region specific. I just like going through, and then I get surprised with it. But man, This one, just because of these 5, oh, it's so fun. I love it. I wish I could have Metamorph on everything.
Nearly 70% of people have pathological, which is the first delirium one. In fact, sorry, all the top 3 are all the deliriums. 69%, 41%, 39%. Odd, the 4th one is Prospero's Promise. The Parandus, the top Parandus, the first Parandus one.
Maybe people care about Headhunter that much. I'm sure there's a lot of casual players that want to brag about it if they ever find it.
Though. Maybe there's something else we don't know, because the 5th one is Metamorph, which is the escaped experiment. So the rogue Metamorph.
Right.
And then so those are the top 5, but the 6th is actually the other Parandus one.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, I've purchased things from him before. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I can have an elk.
I mean, I guess with that last one, he's giving you the rarest of 5, like whatever he could roll, I guess, and then
at
he's
20% discount.
So
yeah,
I'm curious how many people have gotten good rewards from Kadiro.
Yeah,
Lexijoris for me was a really easy one.
Yeah, to me, I interact with him whenever I see him. To me, he's not worth any investment. I prefer the day-to-day content. To me, that's not like, give me mobs, give me something to fight.
I just don't want to see something that I can't get.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally.
So,
You've always been like that, for sure.
It'll bug me.
I am still curious about the Val Merchant.
The Val Flesh Merchant.
Yeah. But I'm not going to spend any points to find out.
All right, so we're going into Glennick Cairns.
Dang it. I guessed wrong.
What do we call that one?
I was in New West here.
How do you say that time?
Yeah, Glennick sounds really good. Really good. You did really well pronouncing that so efficiently.
So my easy outs are Incursion, again, because I hate Alpha.
Yeah. Now, why, just in case people aren't familiar with our hate, why do you hate Alva?
Leveling her to level 7 was the most annoying, stupidest. It compared to every other master that you can level, hers is the absolute worst because you need a spreadsheet for it. And GGG has shown no interest in making her a more simplified way to level, besides saying randomly each time she does a temple, each time you see her in a map, she would go, "Oh, you should do this room," or "Here's a suggested room." When you have to get 70 rooms and you don't know which ones you've done, and that's all you have to help, it's just the stupidest progress to level her, and so it just turned me completely off of Incursion. I hate her face.
As far as we know, it's not user friendly. For me, the reason that I don't like anything Alva is it's timed. I don't like timed. I like defensive builds. I like slow paced builds. If you're putting a timer on me, it's lame. And if I have the choice to avoid it, I'm definitely going to. So I never do the temple, because even the end game, like that end temple, which isn't timed, requires timed content to unlock it. And no matter how strong my build is, if I'm a slow-paced player, that's it.
I actually
I'm
love
not running zoom.
Incursion's final temples. Love them.
Yes.
Absolutely love them, but I just don't like the process to get them.
Yep. And the thing that I like about the final temple that sounds conflicting with my dislike of Delve, because each room has different modifiers, and then there's also global modifiers for the whole temple. But I like that I don't have to, like in Delve, I'm just constantly going. And if I'm in a new area, I don't have time to look around and check the map mods and try and squint and read it. In Alva, I have time. I know before I'm going into another room, I can wait, I can check it out, I can look at my map. I like it. But anyway, none of that helps me with these 3, so we were easily going to nix those. What was your next easy nix?
No, my top easy to take was Legion. All 3 Legions.
What are we in, Glennick? Yeah, I took all 3 Legions hands down. I still don't have my 5 socket map device yet, so that was a big yes for me.
It's tough with Legion if you don't have something that can clear the Legion well. And when I did a Legion it was in Glennick with what was it? I don't remember what I had rolled with the map, but it made it so that all of the generals had extra bonus something, and it was insane. When I actually clicked the Legion, like everything had an item above its head, an icon above its head. But if you can't clear it, it sucks.
Yeah, it does. And the one thing I don't like about Legion is having to guess which side you're going to go on, and not even knowing the direction you need to take to get to the boss or the beefy one at the end. especially with some map layouts, if you have to choose a direction based on the map and you're not sure where it is, like you can really miss out on the content you've been trying to invest in. So that's one thing I don't like. So with these nodes, it makes that experience more valuable. So even if you don't find that exact general per se that you're looking for, there's still tons of stuff there that's going to reward you for it. So I really liked the 3 nodes here for that as well.
And then the last 2 are Beyond and Ambush, and they're actually relatively equal for me. And to be honest, early on, I took Ambush first, which is the strong box one. So chance to contain an extra strong box. They can be opened a second time, and then they're corrupted. And they're at least
all rare.
It wasn't worth it. It's a fun. The idea was really cool, but it never really panned out for me. And then Beyond, I loved it until I started to hate Beyond.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I would love to choose Beyond, but my Xbox can't handle it. And so it was easy for me though, because it was going to be a difficult choice for me if my Xbox could handle both. But I went, my first 2, even before Legion, were the strong box ones. I just love it. I just love being able to play at my pace. And then I know as soon as I hit A, who knows what's going to happen. But like I'm going to get that wave of enemies. I'm going to get that harder content. It's corrupted. And I like it because now I don't even have to carry around alks in that area. Because I would always alk a specific type of strongbox. I would never carry around chaos to re-roll them or scours. I would just alk it once and see what happens. Now I don't even have to. And because they're corrupted, they have a much greater chance of getting what I want. So it's pretty sweet. I really like that.
Community-wise, the 3 legions are the top at 60%, 38%, and 30%. And it's actually really, really close for the 3, 4, and 5. They're all literally at very close to 30%, which is 4th is incursion,
nice.
Resource reallocation.
Okay.
Which that's just killing the non-resident architects have a 50% chance to add an additional upgrade tier to the surviving architect's room, which is cool. Again, if you're big into incursion, it's awesome.
Makes leveling really easy.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. If you're trying to get Alva to 7, this is a really great league for it. Well, moving forward too, because it'll be part of core. And then Scent of Blood is the Beyond. So 3% chance to attract monsters.
Low percentage. But I guess it's all additive.
Yeah, especially when you're killing so many things. And then the 6th place one is just the Ambush one. Twice Tempted. And then it drops from there. So Legion won that one.
The one thing that I thought was hilarious about the last one, which was also kind of a deciding factor for me, was for Beyond. Beyond portals and area. Oh, no, hang on. I didn't even understand the mechanics of it. It said powerful Beyond demons require 1 fewer portals to summon an area. And Beyond portals in the area have 100% increased merging radius. Now, I know if you make the game, that makes sense. To me, that just means, okay, I'm probably going to get a powerful Beyond demon a little bit more frequently or more often.
Yeah, Beyond's not super well explained.
No, and so I'm like, okay, I guess that's what that means. But to me, on an average computer and playing on an Xbox One, those powerful Beyond demons are what slow the system. Like that. I love Beyond, but as soon as those people come that are constantly spazzing their spells, I'm dropping. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. I'm guessing that's what it is, but it's going to encourage content I can't do. So what's next?
We are on to New Vastir.
Nice.
New Vastir.
Easy for me. Super easy for me.
Easy, for me, the easiest out is Delve.
Yep. I nixed Nico right away. I did was it this one that had, the sulfite veins and chests and areas are guarded by sulfite hoarding monsters? I did like that one.
It's clever.
It has nothing to do with Delve. It's just more map content that I'm already in. So that was nice. But I don't care about increased favor, which is the nodes you need to take to get to the other 2. And then the other one out of the blue was a 5% chance to contain an equal amount of Azure. If
you're big into Delve, it's great, but we're just not.
Yep. So out.
My easiest.
What was your next easy out?
Well, my easiest in was Legion.
Yep. I have all 3 for Legion in there for sure.
Yep.
And I just like it. Each Legion in area contains an additional warhorde. That's just nice. It's not even an enemy. You just click it.
I actually had the Timeless Emblem drop in one of them too. That 1%
really?
chance. Yeah.
That's a 1% chance. Good for you. And I like the 3 additional sergeants. And I didn't know they didn't. I'd be really pissed if they didn't. But apparently now they always have rewards. Kind of wish that was always the thing. But
And then for me, it's a toss up after that with Abyss and Anarchy. Anarchy is just fun because it's more rogues and
Gotcha.
there's something in there. And Abyss, I have a struggle with Abyss, and I'll tell you why. I don't like chasing that thing, especially when you get that one Abyss that's like hands in the air and just like runs through the whole map.
I've never been in this map before.
Exactly.
Let's take a look.
Hey, you cleared this whole area. I'm just going to go all the way back. That stuff drives me crazy.
Right.
But the Abyss ones are actually really nice.
Yeah. The one thing I actually really liked about Legion is the travel nodes increase the chance to contain a Legion encounter. And so there are 3 of those. So in total, just the travel nodes give you an extra 9%.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that increasing the chance of an encounter or a mechanic, league type, whatever, that isn't a master mission was a huge benefit for me. I want that content that I can't just choose. Sure, I could get a scarab or whatever else, delirium, like there's stuff that you can do to it. But at the same time, it's nice to just have the surprise content if you feel like doing something else and then you get this on top of it. So I did really like that.
I do remember this is the one that I actually liked that I did that was crazy. And that's because I did it with a winged Legion scarab.
Oh, nice.
Which was nuts.
That is cool. I also chose Abyss, but I absolutely love Abyss. So the fact that Abyss monsters grant extra XP and there's 100% more of them, the troves drop more, +3 levels to the troves, 200% increased item quantity. Like if you love Abyss, that's and it's only 2 nodes or 4 nodes. That's awesome. I do really like Anarchy. I love bosses. I love mini bosses. I love it all.
The thing with Anarchy is if you're playing and getting the harvests, I just have so many of the additional Anarchy things on my Xana map, Xana table, that I can just add Anarchy to so many, and they add like 12 rogues to the map.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so cool.
So
I really like that. And it's a big chance too. It's a big chance. Each travel node, there's 2 of them, has 15% chance. Oh, rogues, sorry, no, never mind. They have a chance to appear in pairs, which is cool. Now, I don't quite know, but wild rogues are exiles that have spawned randomly in the area. Wild rogue exiles have a 15% chance to have additional rewards. Do you know what the rewards are that are specific?
No, I don't know enough about their drops.
Yeah, so that was one thing that didn't tempt me because I'm not familiar with it, but I love the bosses. So if I end up getting bored with Legion or don't find it enjoyable, I'll definitely be going into that.
New Vastier's Legion ones are so good.
Yeah, they are.
They're just really, really good. Let's see. Go ahead.
It's probably easy for people to spec out of Abyss. Not for me. I love it, but most people will probably easily choose the other one.
So, top 3 are Legion, 55, 49%, and 40%. That's the top 3. Delve, Mad Devotion at 25% of people. And then Abyss, Abyssal Army at 20%. And then
nice.
It's a big drop off after that.
I like it when people agree with me.
All right. Valdo's Rest.
I guessed right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well done.
Already up. Except my
Valdo's
Xbox
Rest.
controller keeps disconnecting because I'm using it from across the house.
All right. So Syndicate was my easy no thank you.
Let's see. Blight, Syndicate, Metamorph, Syndicate, Harbinger. Yeah, I would have nicked Syndicate right off the bat as well. I like them if my system can handle it, but it's not something I focus on. I can just do it as a master mission whenever.
This was the one where I in the very beginning spec straight into the 2 Harbingers. So one's joined by reinforcements and then an extra Harbinger. And I am going to say this is actually one of my favorite skill choices out of the whole Atlas passive trees. We've talked about this before. I just can't rack my brain over the idea of who at GGG was like, let's just shit them all in one spot. We have this giant map, but they're all going to be right here. I just don't get that. If they had spread them out, I wouldn't have spec'd out of this. And it had nothing to do with my machine not being able to handle it. I know people have thought that that's what I was referencing. I just didn't enjoy it. I'm not playing a game to kite mobs if it's in a tiny little area. I just don't want to. And I'm not playing a build that's got some like crazy giant clear that can just pop into the middle of them and everything disappears. So it just wasn't an enjoyable. It's my favorite one, but I ended up pulling out of it.
It is a glass cannon league, hey, with ritual. You let monsters last too long and you just can't see anything. Anyway, yeah, Harbinger is going to be there for me, but it is a massive system problem. So it's going to be last for me. We'll see how it goes. But Syndicate was easy for me to wipe off the board. So
And then it's Blight and Metamorph. And for me, I go Metamorph over Blight.
yeah, I really like
Blight's been awesome
Blight's
this
the
league.
towers.
Yeah.
Wait, I always get Blight and Abyss and Beyond, and
I've loved Blight this league, but I just didn't want to spec into it versus a Metamorph.
I don't like the towers on console with the analog stick. Pushing down on your movement analog stick is how you bring up the tower menu, and it locks you in place. And you've played video games with me. Like when I'm playing a racing game, my body's moving left and right. You know what I mean? Like I'm into it. When I'm playing a game, I'm always accidentally pushing down on the analog stick. I'm into it. I can't tell you how many times I've died in Blight just because I thought I was frozen. I thought I was on some sort of trap. I couldn't. Why am I not moving? How come I'm getting stunned so much? And then, oh no, wait, I was just in a tower menu and now I'm dead. So I like Blight a lot and the concept of it, but not enough. It's not well made for console, unfortunately, for how I play. So Metamorph is always, it's probably going to be my favorite. Always give me Metamorph. Always, always, always. And then for me, it was Harbinger after that.
Let's see. Community wise, they have Harbinger is the top two, 54% and 42%. So a large percent. And then Metamorph Intrinsic Darkness, which is the 10% chance to contain an additional to contain a Metamorph. That's 38%. Outbreak with Blight, which is 10% chance to contain Blight, is 33%. And then Betrayal, Test of Loyalty, was at 24%. It's kind of funny because you actually, I guess, could play and build your things the way that you just increase the chances of something rolling on the map. Maybe not necessarily building it all the way up, but you got an additional chance to have a Blight, an additional chance to have a Metamorph, and
additional chance for John, additional chance for Harbinger, or whatever it is.
It's not an additional chance, but you get more rank or whatever with that one. But yeah, it's not. This doesn't really break it down to tell you what people's combos were, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah. Harbinger was at the top.
I really like the Metamorph options in the other region. I really like them in this one too. Like this one, outside of increasing your chances, you get to build it again after you've killed it, which is so fun. And one of my biggest complaints to Metamorph is that it just doesn't always drop a body part. Or I guess if you do the most valuable body parts, you're not always guaranteed to fill the meter.
Yep.
And to me, that really sucks. I don't like that at all. So to have 50% power, less power requirement to fill the bar, and to be able to get double the samples and to be able to build it again, I like that.
I find the first two in Metamorph good. My problem with any of the itemized samples and all that kind of stuff is the stuff you do in the laboratory is just usually, it's not great. I've never really found it that great in there. So, but Harbinger to me, again, it's my favorite one in this entire game. The entire Atlas passives was these two Harbinger points, and I just hated how they implemented it. Spread out, guys. I think I tweeted it. It's like adults coaching kids hockey.
Just this horde of kids running around the puck.
Move,
yeah, that's right.
Spread out.
It's okay to stay at the no, one thing. What was I going to say? What are we talking about? I never ever got into catalysts. That's one thing that I actually want to, after I've put some good time into these extra Metamorph areas. I want to collect a good amount of catalysts and play around with them. I've never bothered.
I have, but you got to have like your end game stuff because you just don't get enough to put the good ones onto your stuff.
So no matter what the Metamorph boss is like in the lab, the idea is the reward for it, right? So hopefully you can get a lot of catalysts and things like that. But I also like, even if the boss is easy, I'm always aiming for currency. Like I want the currency one every single time. I don't care about the rare weapon. I don't care about the rare chest. I like splinters. I like currency, and I'll take catalysts because I haven't played around with them yet.
All right, let's do the last one. Lyra Arthane.
Lyra.
So Heist is obviously top of the list. I'm just kidding. Heist.
Actually, I did Heist.
Really? Heist was my bottom.
Yeah.
That was one of your picks, eh?
It was, because it's all about increasing chances.
Is that just because you don't like the rest of this tree? Because to be honest, this is actually probably the worst. This is the worst combo for me of trees.
Well, yeah, I don't like the tower defense. I don't like blight, so that was an easy nix.
Bestiary.
Bestiary was...
It was an increased chance to have him, more common, less common varieties, and then I think the thing is he just stays with you after the mission, which is fine, but...
Oh, I don't like that. I know a lot of people might like that. I don't want his damage. When I'm I do so much theory crafting, so much testing. I want to see if this works. The second he's in my map, I get pissed because I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing, like, how much damage I'm doing, what my survivability is like. I actually don't want him around. So, and then, yeah, the very first one was about increasing his favor. So I'm like, oh, don't care about that. So that one, even though I do like Bestiary, that one was an easy nix for me.
I think I went Blight. I went all of the Blight, and then just the one to increase the chances of breaches.
Oh, I went with Blight, but I think I was thinking Abyss.
There's no Abyss in this one.
No, I know. So why would I do Blighted Maps? Oh, I guess I must have been really desperate if I went with Blight. Because, breaches, right. I can't do breaches on console. They're too slow.
One thing I liked with Blight in here was the monsters spawn faster, which means the Blight ends quicker. So I do like that. You just have a 10% chance to contain an additional Blight encounter, which I never ran into. And then just an increased chance to contain a Blighted Map. And Blighted Maps they're really good for currency and just drops for me so far this league.
Oh, Blighted Maps are great if you could do it. The Blighted Maps found in areas are anointed. Can you explain that to me? I didn't get to play around with Blighted Maps in the Blight League.
I don't know anything about anointing a Blighted Map.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Is it like a mod you can't get rid of when you're re-rolling a map?
I don't know. Sounds cool though.
Sure does, and it doesn't have an explanation on it. But actually, yeah, I did choose heist, but I do like these heist ones.
What?
The stack size of rogue markers are better. You can never have too many rogue markers, right? Because I remember in heist you were complaining about you didn't have enough. You had tons of blueprints, but not enough markers, and you were doing everything you could to get more markers.
But this didn't do anything with that.
Yeah, the travel nodes increase stack size of rogue markers.
Sure.
And then I like that it's an increased chance to have smugglers caches. So the more contracts, the better. That's the more rogue markers.
Oh, yeah,
and
nothing like a bunch of green contracts that you can't take out of your inventory.
That is kind of annoying. But you did show me that you can drop them in a map and then they'll just show up again. And because they're guaranteed, if you have one waiting for you, in the system, it's guaranteed to drop every one. It's easy to get rid of. And then I really liked the smugglers caches in areas have 100% chance to drop. Increased chance to drop blueprints and maybe even fully revealed.
Yeah, I guess the reason I didn't is because I haven't touched heist at all this league. I did when I leveled from 92 to 93, just testing out good old Huck. But otherwise, I have had way more rogue markers than I had even in heist, and I have not done a single grand heist yet. So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And what was the community on that one?
Good call. What is this? Lyra. It's kind of a fun one because it's all mixed up. So 46% had Spores of the Wind, which is increased blight encounter. 37% roughly are Animal Companion, which is the first bestiary one. So again, 10% chance to get an Einhar, plus his favor if you care. Third was the other blight one, epidemiology. It's a stupid word.
Chieftain.
Right. That's the maps are anointed. Or, blighted maps are anointed. And then fourth was heist, secret stash. And fifth was bestiary. Okay. So breach didn't make the top 5. But they're so close, man. Like, I'm not sure if you're looking at them right now, but 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th are between 21 and 23%.
Yeah. Bestiary is something that neither of us went into that is very popular. And I like it. And you know what? Performance was a big issue. I mentioned it maybe too much throughout this, but if I ever upgrade my computer or whenever a Series X becomes available, I'm really curious what my choices would be without considering performance. Like, just, this is what I like. Right now, I really can't think like that. I try to, but I also don't want to waste my time. Like, apparently those respec orbs are pretty hefty in price.
So we're not going to actually go over this one, but did you look much at the Uncharted Realms, the ones that you get for the like the hidden.
No, I see people talking about it on Discord and I see people talking about it on Reddit, but I kind of want it to be a surprise. But you can go and tell me.
No, there's only one that I read in there that is the only. I just wish it wasn't through that, and that is a 25% chance on completing a map influenced by a conqueror to get double progress towards their citadel. That's a little unfair. Like,
at least it's global. At least it's
Right, but that's what
global.
I mean.
It's not region specific.
but I don't have it.
I think that's great. You will.
I want
Both
it.
you and I are gunning for
I would
that
take
one.
that one for sure.
Yeah.
The other ones are pretty cool. I love all the extra Xana stuff. I hate Xana, but I love the extra map missions, and I think that's fun.
Yeah, me too. More content, the better.
Yeah. Anyway, we finally did it, Ty.
Thank you, Justin, for not pushing it. The one thing that I wanted to say was there's a part of me, and I totally get why they didn't. And I really like that these are region specific outside, of course, of Zonas. But it's hard for me because like when I'm doing a map in a region, it's like how I do this is like I'm looking at my T16s. I don't care about influence. I don't care. The only thing I'm looking at is if I've done that boss for Maven or not. And if I have, I'm basically doing the map that I have the most of that I haven't done that Maven hasn't witnessed yet. So I jump around. Like I don't focus on a content because I love it. And so, but I guess I don't have the time to have an infinite stash. So, I have in my T16s, I have like 5 or 4 of each one, not 17 or 40 or whatever. So I can't really do the focus. So I just like to take the one I have the most of that Maven hasn't witnessed, do it. And so I jump around between content. And sometimes I'm like, oh, wait. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's not this metamorph. It's the other metamorph. And I kind of get them mixed up or I'm not sure why. But at the same time, GGD has done a good job at showing me what it is ahead of time. Like every single time I put a map in the map device, I see the details there. I do wish I could see them.
Not the Atlas stuff, though. It should be there.
I wish I could see it when I'm actually in the map. But when I'm in my map device, it's very obvious. It always catches my attention. Oh, you're going to have increased this, and this. And I'm like, oh, right, sweet, awesome. That's this one. And then it's even as someone as forgetful as me, and I'm bouncing around regions, I'm like, oh, sweet, that's this one. And I have the memory to be able to remember for the next 10 minutes that, yeah, sweet, I hope I see that, whatever it is. So I think it's awesome. To me, I agree with Brittle. We've said it 100 times. This is maybe the coolest addition they've ever added to the game.
It's going to be fun to see what they do with it upcoming leagues, because I imagine it will be treated very much like the maps in the Atlas. You'll see things shift around. There's no way they keep ones where they all were very evenly suckage and don't switch them up a bit.
Yeah, I can see them not wanting certain ones to suck. But at the same time, if you and I were GGG, I could see us being fine if certain things were strongly preferred.
Yeah, but don't group all the crappy ones together. There's like whatever that one was where all of them are like, ugh.
Yeah. Now, maybe there are people
that
absolutely love it.
Our word is final.
I agree. But yeah, I'm excited to see the tweaks. For me, I spend a long time figuring it out because this isn't just a character you can re-roll. These are pretty permanent choices unless you're able to dedicate a lot of time and find these resources on your own or buy them. Like, how much did your orbs cost you? It was 1 orb per node,
10 or 11
right?
chaos. I've had a number drop, but definitely not even close to how many you need to respec. They made the Atlas
Are they normal
trees.
map drops?
They are.
Or only from Maven fights?
No, they are. I think maybe you know what? I don't know. I think that they are. At least mine dropped. My first one ever dropped in a Maven 6 or 8 or something. But I think they're just a rare drop.
Did that drop right beside that awakened orb that you said existed, or what are those awakened gems that Brittle says exists? Whatever.
Lies.
They're a lie. They're not real.
That's right. All right. Well, there we go. We made it through the Atlas tree preferences. Tyler can finally check that off.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, and it was perfect timing to come out right when they released stats on.
Yeah,
that's what I was waiting for, Ty.
We'll pretend it was planned.
That's right.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's wrap up episode 72 of Forever Exiled, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
I'm Tyler Recker of Days.
Thank you guys so much for joining us in episode 72. Patreons will catch you guys in After Dark. Everybody else will catch you in 73. If you're looking for more information, we got a website down below, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. Our Patreon link is down below if you want to find some information about that and get access into our After Dark as well as our merch store And if you're not on Discord, get your ass in there. First off, because we apparently have a private league coming up, and that's where you find out.
Apparently, it's on March 19th.
That's right.
That
March
was
19th.
a unanimous decision by the company.
That's right. So yeah, we'll see you guys on Discord. Peace.
Man, I love passive tree stuff. Like adding a passive tree to the Atlas. Oh, just a dream, man. Just a dream.